Hey everyone, I'm Madonna Guy and this is Linda Hoggard. And this time we're going to chat about Linda's little baby stem
Oh
enhance.
yeah, my big baby.
Your big baby.
It's got quite growing up now. I've been
Yeah,
on the Stem Enhance trail for 20 years, I think now.
it
So
would be. It would
yeah,
be.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
So 20 years ago, I had done a series of detoxification with the zeolite product that Madonna and I were talking about in the previous video, and I had done some significant detoxing. A lot of me felt better than it ever had, especially parts of my brain. But my body wasn't doing very well. I hallucinated in the last one that on this kind of detox, I had stuff coming out my ears and through my reproductive system and that sort of thing. And I got kind of into like this healing slump, and I was sort of better, but I was tired, and I could feel my body wasn't kind of healing from it, and nothing was really working. And my partner at the time, Joseph, said, what's going on? Explained that. And he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm trying everything. If I get up in the middle of the night to go to the loo, I'm taking more stuff, nothing's working. He's like, oh, what are you going to do? And I said, I don't know, but when I find the answer, it's going to change my life, and it's going to change the life of the people, that I'm helping. And a few days later, I went out for lunch and I was showing the original stem cell enhancer that's based on the Stem Enhance concentrate, that is a trademark patented concentrate from the algae, the AFA in Lake Klamath in Oregon. And I bought some, and 10 days later, I was totally out of that slump and started turning my body around. And over the next few months, I had real increase in lung capacity and heart rate recovery, and my crunchy wrists, from having done a lot of physical body work, really started to turn around. And I don't know a lot about stem cells. I do now. And what I tell people now is that the way our body heals and repairs itself is that our stem cells from our bone marrow migrate out. They can become any type of cell in the body, and this needs to be turning over. But once we're over the age of 25, at least, if not earlier, our stem cell migration starts to slow, and that's because there's a compound in the bone marrow called L-selectin. It's like a sticky anchor for the stem cells that gets stickier the older we get. So the Stem Enhance product has its own double-blind research that shows that when you take 2 capsules within 45 minutes, you have a 25% increase in stem cell migration. It's extra 4 to 9 million stem cells in migration. Plus, being a concentrated algae, it's extremely nutritious. It's high in a mood-enhancing compound called phenylethylamine. It's really, the pigment's anti-inflammatory, and it's really nutritious. So it's kind of, I just say to people, think of it like a whole food, multivitamin mineral that's really absorbable, helps you cope with life, and gets your stem cells migrating like when you were younger. So you can take a certain amount just to help from a maintenance point of view, all the way through to a significant amount to give your body the resources to help the stem cells get more stem cells out so they can go and do what they need to do.
Because stem cells can become any tissue in the body.
Absolutely. Yeah. 20 years ago when we started this journey, the research was saying, oh, they're definitely heart cells and muscle cells. Now they're like, yep, 217 different types of cells in this body of 30 trillion cells, and your stem cells are becoming every type of cell. It explains how we keep this mechanism of 35 trillion cells moving through time with the cellular turnover. Cells can duplicate themselves so many times, but ultimately new cell lines have to come in from the stem cell reboot.
Can you run out of stem cells?
Yes.
Okay.
You'll be dead in 3 days.
Okay.
That's what happens when they nuke your bone marrow. Like if you've got acute leukemia, if you don't get a transplant, you're dead in 3 days.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's not great news.
No. It's definitive.
So if someone does that, Stem Enhance won't work?
Are we talking about that? If we could go other places without, you mean, into... No, because there's the level of chemotherapy someone's been given has nuked all their stem cells, so there's no stem cells to stimulate to come out.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you're in the realms of needing to be in hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
So with the Stem Enhance, what are your favourite like if you were to think of the top few people that you would go Stem Enhance?
Absolutely. It's arthritis, it's heart stuff, and Well, and I went and like eyes, I guess too, you know, some of the things, you know, like your stem cells can become new macular cells.
Yeah,
And
right.
you want to optimize it with some circulation support that with Stem Enhance on the website, you can see that there's a PlasmaFlo product. But I would say every second person takes the product for arthritis, and that general, like I feel old and I'm creaky and I'm stiff and my joints hurt and all my old wall wounds are playing up.
Yep.
And a lot of those people, man, they've tried heaps of products. They've thrown a lot of money at the health food shop wall.
Yeah.
But man, you get in there, you know, with 4 to 6 capsules of Stem Enhance, start low, build up, be consistent. It did not take most people a year to get like this. It's, you know, particularly when people are getting 40, 50, 60s and 70s, there's a long time of degeneration that's accumulated that hasn't been attended to.
Yes.
So I always ask people to commit to the product for 6 to 8 months. And then at 6 to 8 months, really people have their own value of it and kind of go, wow, I'm going to keep going. And
Yes.
I know with the company at a conference here in Brisbane a few days ago, talking to some people, you know, they've been on the product 2 or 3 months, and I see some really cool stuff, and I go, keep going. See where you're at a year, where you're at 2 years, and where you're at 3 years. It's exciting.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know I've got people who've been damaged the last few years who are here because of things like Stem Enhance.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, without a doubt.
If your heart, I mean, the whole myocarditis thing just doesn't hit in. So before it seems to become like some sort of new normal.
Yeah.
But before then, if anyone young, particularly anyone younger at any age, was diagnosed with myocarditis, their specialists, their GPs were really worried about them. They're like, oh my God, you're going to create scar tissue. You know, maybe you're 30, this is really going to start biting you in your 50s. They'd be really worried about them. But I know from the work that Madonna and I had done, because you'd see the odd person with a day, like normally they'd had a really bad flu, like a virus go to their heart, and their heart would become chronically inflamed. So I spend an unusual amount of time reminding people that your stem cells become new heart cells, that scar tissue happens in the absence of stem cells. So you get enough stem cells into that heart wall that's chronically inflamed. Ultimately, that's why it's inflamed. It's inflamed because that's what it is. Itis is inflammation of the myocardium. It's inflamed because it's calling for help. And one of the main things it's calling for is stem cells. So you start
beautiful.
Really increasing those resources in the body and start to see things change and get onto it soon and be consistent and put the money into the dosages, because you need to minimize the scar tissue in your heart, because it's going to have just a massive effect on the rest of your life.
And there's a hierarchy, isn't there? So Stem Enhance, it works on a hierarchy of what's going on in the body as to where it goes. So my understanding was, once again, a long time ago, that the body is releasing all sorts of enzymes or inflammatory cytokines.
They're kind of like the things that the stem cells are listening for.
Yes.
Yeah, like stromal derived factor 1 and granulocyte colonizing stimulating factor.
I didn't remember that.
That's right. It's my baby. I know all its names.
Yes. So different organs are releasing these substances.
Yeah, and it's the cells that are needing help. They're releasing those compounds, and the stem cells, that's what they're I guess I call it listening. It's all kind of chemical activity. But as the stem cell comes through and into your microcirculation, because the only point where a stem cell can migrate from the blood into your tissues is the juncture between the capillaries and the venules. There's a change in the musculature around the blood vessels that are coming out from the heart to the blood vessels that are kind of returning. And so at this juncture, your blood vessels are only 1 red blood cell thick. And sometimes they're even smaller than that. That's why red blood cells are concave, and they curve over. And then your red blood cells sitting here this is like the grassroots of where it's all happening. These are the individual red blood cells, and here are the individual cells of the body. And so some of these cells will be saying, hey mate, time's up, I've been damaged, I've got some genetic condition, I'm timing out. And they release these compounds. And so when the stem cells coming into that juncture of the capillary to the venule, there's a slight slowing, and it's enough time for those stromal derived factors to activate the receptors. The stem cell adheres to the blood vessel walls and then migrates through. And then starts picking up over the next, I think it's around four hours or so, what type of cell it's turned up into, and then it turns into those types of cells. It might be an insulin producing cell in the pancreas, a Kupffer detox cell in the liver. It might be a brain cell, a muscle cell. It duplicates. Every stem cell can duplicate itself up to 1,500 times and then turns into those cells of that cell type. Yeah, because you've got to be looking at those kind of numbers and that happening in order to keep 35 trillion cells ultimately kind of turning over.
And you've got a bit of a dose for different things going on?
I do. We have what's called Linda's mantra. I spend my life reminding people, because people want this for that. And I go, it's just the mantra, man. Like, what I've observed is that most adults do well on 2 capsules twice a day. If they've got more going on than average, we make it 3 capsules twice a day. If they're in a pickle, we make it 4 capsules twice a day. And if they're munted, which is a very special New Zealand term, we'll go to 12 capsules a day over a few doses. The product sometimes can keep people awake, so we tend to recommend people take it when they wake up and about 6 hours later, early to mid-afternoon.
And it keeps people awake because it's...
Because of the phenylethylamine, for the mood enhancement kind of compound in it. It really heightens your attention and concentration. So I say to people, well, you want that during the day and you want another kick of it in the afternoon. And if people are on those kind of munted amounts, sometimes they're too munted to notice that, they might have been in quite a bad accident and things, and their body's just trying to sleep all the time. So it's not kind of sort of an issue, but yeah, it's always a reminder, because it's concentrated. It's got a lot of energy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it gives people a lot of life force. It really picks up their life force.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
I'll pop any other thoughts on the stem and hands?
Oh, we kind of talk for days. I think that's a nice kind of in a nutshell. We're both here, particularly Madonna, for any extra questions and things. Madonna's going to pop a link in the video here. The stem enhancers are easily available all throughout Europe, North America, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, Taiwan, and then sometimes some of those distribution centres have some other ways that they send out to some of the other countries as well. You can kind of investigate that in the top right-hand corner of the website.
Yeah, beautiful. Awesome. And the website's had a bit of an update.
It has. It's getting...
or is that simultaneously? It's nearly there.
The first 8 updates is up. There's another 2 updates coming, just really creating kind of that narrative so that you can go backwards and forwards from the research and kind of look at your options around one-off purchases, being on a regular order, buying bigger packs, etc., and navigating it kind of without needing us
without
to
stress.
help.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, awesome.
Some websites are very special. They're neurospicy. Beautiful. Awesome. Excellent. Thanks, Linda.
All the best.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.